Hello everyone, my name is Mehul Kumar Bhatt and I'm here to give a presentation on assignment 3 MS SQL Server Management. For this assignment, first of all, I have created a database called LMT University. Then I have created a schema named Enroll for this on the same database LMT University. Then I started using that same schema named Enroll. Then I've created a database modeling which looks like this that you all can see. Then for the assignment, I started creating a table in the same enroll.schema, and it is called address table with the following specification. Then I entered the following specifications into the table enroll.address. Then again, I've created another table called enroll.department with following specifications and inserted following details into the table. Then the third table I have created is lecturer with the following specification and entered all this detail specified over here. And last but the most important table that I have entered here is enroll.student with this following specifications mentioned in assignment requirements. Then I have entered a foreign key and then connected student table with department and address table with the foreign key of department ID and address ID. And then I have also entered all the all the data into the table with the following specifications. Then I started querying on the above all mentioned tables. First of all, I have listed all the student information in the student table. Then I have listed all the information in the department table. Then I have started listing all the information into the lecturer table. And last, I have mentioned all the information of address table. Then I started querying in the student table and list all the student full name, student date of birth, and student mobile from the student table. Then I will try to display student ID, student first name, student last name, student date of birth, student mobile, and student roll number with the address ID 7 from student table. Then I will list all the student information whose first name starts with B. Then I will list all the student information whose first name is start with and end with alphabetical A. Then I have counted number of students from student table whose department ID is 6. Then I have tried to list all the student full name, student age, and student mobile name from student table with this query over here. Then I try to list all the student name, student age, student mobile whose age is either 21 or 23 from student. So for this I have used this query. You all can see. Then I've listed all the lecturer ID, lecturer name, lecturer highest qualification, and lecturer age from lecturer table. After that, I have tried to list all the lecturer ID, lecturer name, lecturer highest qualification, lecturer age from lecturer table whose highest qualification is either MS or PhD. So you all can see this query here. Then I try to list all the lecturer information who belongs to department ID 2 from this query. Then with this help of this query, I try to list all the lecturer information whose name end with R. Then the following query is list all the lecturer information whose name either start or end with the word E. Then the next query list all the lecturer name is in capital letter. Then the next query display 5 characters from the lecturer name along with lecturer ID and lecturer highest qualification. So this query lists first 5 words of lecturer's name. Then I try to list lecturer ID, lecturer name, lecturer highest qualification, lecturer age in year, and lecturer age will define as current age less lecturer age. So with this query, I identify this specific information. Then I try to list department ID, department name, department description, department capacity from department table from this query. The next query lists all the department information whose department name is ECE. Then the next query is listing all department name, department description, department capacity from department table whose capacity is greater than 60. Then the next query will list all address ID, street address, city, state, postal code, and country from address table. Then I try to list all address ID, street address, city, state, postal code, country from the address table who belongs to Poland country. And the next query will list all the address information whose state is null, as well as the very next query will list all the address information whose postal code is null. Then I try to list all the address information whose city name is Honda and country name is Colombia. Then next query will list unique date of birth from student table, as well as the very next query will list unique department name from department table. Now here I try to list unique country name from address table as well as state and unique city names. Then next query will list all the lecturer ID, lecturer name, lecturer highest qualification, lecturer's years of service from lecturer table. Lecturer year service will be defined as current date minus lecturer's age in years. So this is the query that I have used for to identify the particular information asked for the query. Then I try to list all the lecturer ID, lecturer name, lecturer highest qualification, lecturer type from table lecturer. And again, I identified this particular information for the lecturer type, that if lecturer's year service is less than 5, then it is considered as beginning level experience. Else, if lecturer year service is greater than or equal to 5 and lecturer year service is less than 10, then it is considered as mid-level experience, and else it is considered as experience. So I have used this query with the help of case, when, and else formula to identify this particular information. Then I try to identify all the student and their department information based on their relationship with this query. Then I try to display all student and their address information based on their relationship with this query. Then I try to identify and display all department and their lecturer information based on their relationship through this query. Then I try to display all student with their department and lecturer information based on the relationship with this query. Then this next query will display all student with address, department, and lecturer information based on the relationship with this query. Then I try to display all the student with address, department, and lecturer information who belongs to either ME or ECE department with this query. Then I try to display student with department and their lecturer information based on the lecturer's highest qualification, either MS or PhD that I have mentioned here in the query. Then next query will explain or display student with department and their address information where students belong from country named Thailand. Then I try to display count of students department wise with this query. Then the next query will display count of lecturers department wise, and the next query will display count of students country wise. Then I'll move to the next queries. We'll create a new table named stud copy and copy all the records from student table. Then I try to create a new table, department copy, and copy only from the schema from department table. The next query will create a new table, department copy, and copy all the records and from department table. Then I try to create a new table, address copy, and copy only the schema from address table through this query. The next query will display create a new table, address copy, and copy all the records from address table. And the following query will create a new table named lecturer copy and copy all the records from lecturer table. We all can see this red lines here due to the following queries I have made, and on that queries I have deleted this copy tables to function and try that functionality of that queries that we'll see later on. So here we'll move to the deleting part. So here I have deleted all the records from lecturer copy table. So that's why it is called, we all can see the red lines over here during this table names. The next query, I have deleted all the student information for the students who belong to IT department. Then the next query, I have deleted all the student information for the students who belong to Indonesia as a country. Then I have deleted student information from particular city of Nancy, who has all the information related to this particular city. Then next information that I have deleted all student information and records for the student who belong to state name Britain. And last, for the updating part, I have started writing queries regarding updating student mobile information for the students who belong to department ME. So all the students who have department named called ME, I try to update their mobile numbers with this following numbers from 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. Then I updated student department ID as 3 for the student ID number 42. Then I try to update the record of lecturer highest qualification as PhD for the lecturer whose lecturer's highest qualification is equal to PhD. And then I try to update postal code as 50 for the address which contain null as a postal code. And at last I try to update it student last name as Paul for the student whose name is Jerry. So here I conclude my presentation. Thank you so much everyone for listening to me. Thank you.